What's going on YouTube, Gen X? Man, I'm so happy that the NFL is back. Enjoying Monday Night Football right now. Wanted to make a quick video. Once again, I get really annoyed when you have this sort of let's go after all educated black men for what they didn't do as if we're all part of the same generation. Which is annoying to me because there's shit that we get blamed for, and it's like, what do you want me to do at this stage in the game? It's one thing if you're talking about, brothers from 2 or 3 generations ago. So they're in their 40s, in their 50s or whatever, and you're like, hey, what did you put together for the next generation? Right? Those sort of criticisms are fair, and I'll be the first one to say, hey, we didn't see this, we didn't see that. And I've talked about this with my father or my uncles or whatever who are part of that generation, and they'll admit that, yeah, there's some things that they should have done, but they let pride and comfortability get in the way. So I look at this crop of generation, and I'm sitting there and it's like, which I include myself in terms of those born in the 80s or whatever, and I ask myself, why are we being blamed for stuff? We hadn't even got to a level where we can do some shit. Come holler at me at 40 and 50 when I have years of experience in terms of whatever I chose to do for a living. When I have that sort of clout and access to resources and networks where I could actually put something together. And I have to make that choice. Do I want to get comfortable and just enjoy a high-paying job and be just the chief employee, or do I want to be an employer? And therefore potentially be in a position where I could help out other black men or black women or the quote-unquote black community, if you wouldn't even want to call it a community. So it makes no sense for a cat my age, let's say in the mid-20s, or a cat older than me, to be looking at me and saying, hey, you failed me, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that. Like, what do you want me to do? It's not about what you can do at 25 or whatever. There's not much you can do. You're still becoming a master at whatever trade or whatever, occupation you chose to engage in. You're still learning. You're still learning the ropes. You're still becoming a master. You're still building that portfolio. You're still building those resources. Like I said before, it's not about what you do in your mid-20s or early 30s. Yes, you have some folks who are able to do a lot, but it's more so what do you do later on down the line? Do you decide to go open up your own law firm after you have 20 years of practice? Do you decide to go open up your own engineering firm or whatever after 20 years of practice where you have the resources? You can link up with some buddies or some business partners and actually get, a $2 million bank loan or whatever, so you can actually, have an official legit business. That's where it kicks in. So when I get there, 40, 50, definitely come holler at me and say, hey, what have you done? What have you put together? I don't know about fixing the community, but I'll, be willing to entertain the whole idea of, what opportunities did you at least provide for other black folks so they can make it out? Because I think there's a big difference between giving black men and women the opportunity to get employment that would allow them to leave the struggling communities versus fixing it. I don't, like I said before, I don't believe in fixing it. I don't think it can be fixed. I don't think it's designed to be fixed. I do believe it's one of those, it's about helping you get out. It's not about making the pit a better place. Let's remodel the pit. It's about getting out of the pit. So at 40, 50, come holler at me. I mean, it's insane. Imagine your boy, right, who's your same age, who chose to go left when you went right, coming at you on some like, yo, man, you're supposed to be able to give me a job. You're supposed to give me some sort of opportunity. You looking at this nigga like, what are you talking about right now? What do you want me to do? Who you mad at? Go blame the other generation. Don't come at me on some like, what you didn't do for me. I'll tell you what, if I'm not able to give your son a job when he gets to 20 years old, or, your grandson a job, or your granddaughter or your daughter, then you have every right to be mad at me. But you, my friend, there's nothing you can say to me. We're the same age. So I'm not sure what you're exactly looking for out of me. Like I said before, there's just all these finger pointing and he's not doing this and he's not doing that. Who are you talking to right now? Be specific. Like I said before, the verdict is still out on this crop of professional black men. Do I have some faith that maybe we can turn it around? I do. We've seen where our fathers fell short, especially with a lot of us who are the few that are coming from two-parent homes. You know, people tend to throw that out the window. So we've seen where our fathers fell short. We've seen where our uncles fell short. We have this conversation over and over. Whenever we have a reunion with the guys, usually during the Christmas time and holiday, we're all linking up, right? We always talk about, yeah, man, we're on our way. We're on our way. Literally. And with some brothers I've already met with, we're already preliminary planning. There's some stuff in the works, so I have every reason to believe that this next generation or this next crop of educated black men are going to do better than what the previous generation did before us. We saw where they've fallen. And we know it wasn't, about what my dad didn't do at 25 or what my dad didn't do at 30. It's what my dad didn't do at 45, what he didn't do at 50 in terms of teaming up with my uncles or some of the other black men that he worked with or encountered. It's about what my mom didn't do and what she could have done. Even now, we try to get her out there. So the issues that, once again, people have with educated black men not doing this, not doing that, be mindful of the generation you're talking to. I mean, damn, how do you have cats who are older than you talking about what you didn't do for them and what doors you didn't open up for them? I'm like, who are you talking to right now? The people you should be talking to are the people who are older than you. But considering, the lack of opportunity and you want to go back to civil rights and, the lack of education or whatever, I mean, how far can you go back and really blame me? I mean, you look at the floodgates opening up in terms of having access to institutions of higher education or whatever, relatively speaking, compared to where we were civil rights and before. I mean, how many generations have really come through? And if you go back to the whole idea of, blacks even going to school, if you want to look at the 60s and the 70s or whatever, I mean, some may say we're only 2 or 3 generations removed from a period where that wasn't even an option. So once again, it's just, people want to talk and people want to criticize, but, people don't have any sort of perspective. Blame whoever. I'm going to blame this cat. You have a degree, it's your fucking problem. Go blame the 19-year-old. 40-year-old blaming the 19-year-old. Where's my opportunities at, nigga? I don't have this, it's your fault this, your fault that. Like, who you talking to? So once again, come talk to me when I'm 40, 50. And, your son is looking for a job, or you're worried about the opportunities your son or daughter is going to have, or your grandchildren are going to have or not going to have. Then we have something to talk about. But as far as the cats who are my age and older, there's really nothing I can do for you. Really. That's my video. Y'all take it easy. God bless.